All right, good morning, everyone. Dan here with the tradingology.com trading room for our final session of April. Today's April 29th, 2021, coming to you. And we have Dave joining us as the leader of Strong Market currently right now, teaming up, putting all of our brains together, helping you guys as much as possible. We got some fun news to talk about today, that's for sure. How you doing, Dave?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Very well. Happy Thursday. Good to
Happy
see you,
Thursday.
Andre, Curtis, Tom. We got a good group rolling in today.
Tom's here. Oh my gosh, Tom,
Tom's
how you
under the weather,
feeling?
so we're hoping you feel better, Tom. So maybe a day off
Yeah.
and trading will do that for you.
Wow. I feel especially privileged today to have Tom join us. Of course, everybody I always appreciate, especially Andre. Andre is probably, I think he wins the award for the most days attended of the trading room.
Yeah, we might have to get him some swag for that.
Yes. And Curtis, thank you very much for joining us again. We appreciate it.
And Tom couldn't hear any of us yet because he's still dialing his audio in here, so we'll jump him. He might be on his phone too. You never know.
Yes. Okay, good. Well, I hope you're feeling better, Tom, soon. So, yeah, we got a lot of interesting stuff. You sent out some updates to the Slack channel about Biden. He came out with his $1.8 trillion plan last night. Federal Reserve said they're not going to raise interest rates. And Biden kind of backed him up on that and said, this is not the time to taper.
I liked one of the comments after the fact where it was, remember, this blew me away too. 25 years ago when Clinton said, we're done with big government. Well, Biden just said big government's back and it's probably here to stay.
Yes.
I just can't believe it's been 25 years since Clinton. When he said that, I was like, 25 years. Wow.
Wow. Did Biden actually say that?
Clinton said, "Oh no, Biden didn't say that big business government was back."
He implied. I guess he implied it.
Yeah, with his plan, he definitely implied it.
It would be funny if he actually came out and verbalized that. That would be pretty funny.
Yeah, another 1.8 trillion in spending. Laid it all out. There was a great tweet. I'll see if I can find it while it's in here. Someone has a pie chart of all of the plans put together, trying to keep track of everything. It's amazing to look at this chart. I'll see if I can find that on the fly here.
I heard a pundit this morning talk about the fact that he didn't mention anything about transparency, accountability, all of the things that typically, would go hand in hand with a big spending package like this, which means it's probably going to be full of pork and waste and other things.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. One of the interesting things was a very big chunk of like hundreds of millions of dollars was going into augmented homes.
Interesting.
Yeah. I thought it was odd. They're specifying a particular type of technology.
What was that, or did they say?
Well, I had to look it up. I didn't know either. And so I looked it up, and basically what it is, it's like either for commercial or residential purposes, it's homes that are connected to the internet that you can interact with to provide products and services. So like if you're just sitting in a room, like I'm sitting in my office right now, and the thought comes to me, oh, you know what? I need to order coffee from Amazon or something like that. All I have to do is say, order coffee from Amazon.
All you have to do is think it.
Yeah, that's coming. That's coming.
It's funny because everybody knows it. Everybody sees it with advertising. It's even like my wife will get things on her feed that I talk to her about. So she doesn't even do anything physically, but then things show up. Like something for a kayak. Like I was talking about a kayak. And all of a sudden she's getting advertisements for kayaks. It's like, wow.
And you're in the same house at the same time doing that, right?
Right.
Well, I have a buddy of mine, in fact, is Jay Hyatt 139 from the YouTube streams when I was doing streams with Brad. He's Twin Pop on Twitter. We live in the same city, but we don't, and we just text back and forth. And one time I mentioned in a tweet something, I forgot what it was now, but it was a specific product or service. And he was online and he got an ad for that product or service.
It's amazing.
Scary.
It'll never cease to amaze you. Yeah.
Scary.
Anyway, we do have some interesting news to report because if you guys were trailing or following in the revived Facebook, I put this up on April 13th. And the target on the MES or ES of 42.11 1/4 for a potential reversal. We're definitely going to receive a reversal there. So how big, we shall see still, because we're living it right now. But as we look right now at the open, internals are stair stepping down. We just turned negative. We see the reversal of the lines. So if we look at the chart of the MES, let's take a look at what happened. Right after the markets went crazy last night, because as soon as he started talking in the speech, here's where it just rallied right up. So I actually shorted this, looking for a reversal shortly after he was done. So I was sitting on shorts, and what did it do? It just went nothing but sideways. So I closed out my profits for a very small, closed out the trade for small profits. Then I went to bed, and this morning I saw it was coming back up, and look at what we happened to hit, almost to the exact penny. It was off by 1/4.
I'm giving you all the credit on this one, because you've been talking about 42.11 since that post. So, you're saying 42.11 is the number, and I keep looking for it. In fact, we talked the other day because I was short M2K, and in fact, it was last night. It was right after the close. I got in, and I shorted it. And as soon as it opened back up at 4:30 Eastern time, I got out with a $38 profit. I chickened out. I said, I'll wait till tomorrow. And we're going to hit that 42.11. And we did. So total props to you, my friend.
I appreciate that, sir. But it's just, it's literally numbers. I got that from a fib sequence. Numbers. So anybody can do this. Just showing you how you guys can do it. So we're finding a couple layers of support here. We'll see how far it goes. If those internals keep dropping, we could see a very large potential reversal here. We'll see. Look at the ETFs are going off my charts. I have to adjust it up here. They were well over. Boy, yeah, look at your RTY now.
Yeah, and the reason I chose the M2K specifically for my shorts over the last couple of weeks, just kind of testing the waters a little bit here, was because if you look on a daily chart of the Russell 2000 index, or I don't know if you have TradingView available there for you.
I do. I can bring it over.
Because it shows up really well on TradingView. But I've been looking at this pattern, and you know what? A lot of people have been talking, and a lot of traders that I talk to, and I've heard people on TV as well, or not TV. Nobody watches TV anymore. On my channel on my computer, is that price patterns don't work really very well, and they haven't worked in a while. But if you zoom out just a little bit there you go. You take a look at that. It's a massive head and shoulders pattern too. You got the left shoulder over there at the middle of February, and you can go to the drawing tool maybe. Yeah, that's fine.
So you got the head there.
Yep, there's the head. There's the left shoulder to the left, and then you got the right shoulder, which we formed. Well, it's
kind
actually
of there, or it's the same.
They should be somewhat equidistant from the center, so they're pretty well proportioned. But it is very, very classic head and shoulders pattern. Now, if this doesn't work, then I don't know. Patterns just don't work anymore very much anyway. Most of the traders that I talk to are using exactly what you're doing now with fibs, but you have a really unique take on the fibs, which I like. I think you've done something kind of innovative there, but also price action. So they're looking at price action rather than patterns to kind of make a determination of long or short positions. But I saw that massive head and shoulders pattern. And you know what? Right down there at 2097 that you got that red line there, that's the neckline. And so if you measure that out from the head to the neckline, it gives you a target at about 1800 on M2K. I don't see the same pattern. Yeah, you can measure that. I think it's pretty close to 1800 I've got on my chart there.
From the peak here?
Yep, the peak to that neckline is about 261 points. So if you take 261 from that neckline and pull it down, let's see where we go. I get close to 1800 though. No, from the
Oh,
next.
down.
Yeah, that's where you would measure it. So
I need to get this.
269 from there.
What do we say? 261.
Yeah, that's about 1833. Yep, that's about right there. That's what I got on my chart. I'm looking for that. That's a that's a nice 500 point drop there from where we are currently, and so that's kind of what I'm looking for.
Yeah, that's almost 5,000 ticks.
Yeah,
that's a good opportunity there for sure.
Yep, I like those swing long-term type trades. I'm looking for probably end of May maybe to get out of that position.
Oh, I forgot to bring it over too. Let's take a look while I'm on this tab. It's Thursday, right? So
it is.
How did our unemployment claims come? Forecasting 545, came out at 553, so worse than expected, and still 500,000 people new unemployment claims. So we haven't come off that hump. One very interesting thing I did see, because they always have to fact check people right after his speech, because Biden's claiming that he's created over 1 million jobs already, right, in the first 100 days. But then they're like, well, remember there was, 20 million all in all that lost their jobs a year ago. Yeah, it's just a matter of them coming back to work. So it's not like jobs were created. It's just things that are reopening. So that was a little misleading. So he actually got a misleading on Twitter, which I think is funny because that's all Twitter does now is fact check the president.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess he could claim that he had, recovered 1 million jobs, but he didn't create them.
Right.
But I think I'll give him some credit though for getting 100 million vaccinations out. I think he hit that goal.
I think he doubled that. I think they claimed it was 200. He called for 100 and he got to 2. So there you go. We'll give him that one.
Yeah.
So if we take a look at the indexes, we were talking about this offline too. It kind of looks like the Dow might be rolling over. We'll see. It did this once before, then it recovered. We're in a down pattern at the moment. We'll see if it breaks it back up to the upside or if this is the rollover.
Yeah, we'll see.
Will the Bears step in or not?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I think again we have to go back to the idea that everybody looks at patterns, and this is a typically a pattern, and it actually rolled over before back there just on the left side of your chart, and then it kind of recovered a little bit. We'll see if it happens again. I don't know what the catalyst is going to be, but I think there is going to be some sort of, I mean, how much are we up on the S&P 500 so far this year?
On the year?
Yeah, I mean, if you go back to that trading view and you go into the S&P 500 and measure the percentage gain that we've had this year so far. I mean, really, since last November or last April, we've just had an incredible run up. I think if you put in SPX, you'll probably.
There we go. I missed one. Perfect.
Yeah, there you go. So just from the beginning of the year,
or I can make it really easy. Let me go to a monthly.
There you go. And we're already 3 months in, so I'll tell you. It's October, December.
Looking at the top and the bottom. So there's January. Turn my little magnet on. Why not? %.
Right. So what's the average gain of the S&P 500 over the past 40 years? It's like 6 to 8%.
Yeah.
So we're already double that in the first 3.5, 4 months. Law of averages, numbers, right? It's numbers. We're already double the average gain in a year. Does that mean that we're probably going to see some sort of a little pullback here to kind of normalize that annual rate of return? Or are we going to continue to go higher from here?
Well, and here's a good view. Little to add on to that. Today's the 29th, right? So tomorrow's our last trading day for this month.
Yes.
And if we look at, we're on a monthly chart now at the SPX. If we look at the price signals down here, we are lower than previous month.
Yes. We're down 1.
So we were at 1,000. We broke 1,000 in March. We're currently at about 750, call it, below. So that is trending down. So that could point to a reverse, because same time we saw it before, it peaked out. Then the next ones were lower when we saw these 2 lower months.
Right.
So this one trended down. The next month was lower. We're trending down. Will next month. So that's pointing to probabilities of May being a lower month, which lines right up with shorting things and pullbacks and reversals. So the numbers are lining up.
Yeah, I think there's potential there. I mean, we've had a long stretch of green on that indicator, and we're starting to trend down again. So
yeah, Tom says sell in May and go away. There you go.
Yeah, that's the old saying. That's for sure. It looks like that might be the case. And remember, we got the tax extension now is May 15th. So people going into May may end up selling because they have some tax liabilities. And if Biden does do I think he'll get it passed. He'll get that 39% capital gains tax rate increase. I mean, you're basically, for people who make over $1 million a year, I mean, yeah, it's not that large of a population in the United States, but they are also the majority of stockholders. They own a lot of stock.
Right.
I don't know what percentage of it is, but it's pretty large, because if you look at all the charts I've looked at, as people who are making under $75,000 a year have like 3% in stocks. People making over $1 million a year have like 70 or 80% in stocks and equities. And so if they have a lot of stocks and equities, that means it's not a small sum. It's a small number of people who own a large majority of the equities.
And I've also heard of new inheritance taxes and new death taxes that are on the table now, might be part of this package, where there might be more movement of money to generations to protect against that. So look for that as well, coming from those people that are high earners.
Wow. He's looking for money wherever he can find it, I think.
Right. Well, they're going to find it. They're going to need it somewhere to fund all those programs, let me tell you. And I've also seen headlines of, we always joke about there's no such thing as a temporary government program, right? Well, if you go down the list, everything says this program make permanent, this program make permanent. So it's all these programs that started out as temporary fixes because they were needed for whatever reason is now becoming a permanent thing.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Did you see that like on a website someplace where they listed all the programs? Or?
Yeah, I was listing out stuff that he talked about last night, and it was, childcare stuff and child tax credits going from 2,000 like 3,500 is going to be permanent, and other things are going to be permanent that they're trying to pass through. Tom says he read something about the possibility of 1031 exchange. What's 1031 exchanges off the top of my head? Is that that number of exchanges, or?
No, that's when you trade real estate. So if you have a property that's worth $1 million or something, and you want to exchange it with another property of like value, those exchanges are free right now, tax free. I did read the same thing, Tom, and it looks like they're going to cap that at $500,000. So you can exchange tax free under $500,000. Anything over $500,000 is going to be taxed now.
Gotcha. Yes, everywhere they can find it, right, to fund that.
Yeah.
And look at what yields have done now today. The 10-year and the 30-year we're up almost 2% on the 30 and over 3%.
I do not like that number on the
10-year.
1.66.
1666. They're showing up again.
Yeah, I do not like the looks of that.
Tom's got 500K is the value of the average backyard and shed nowadays.
Yeah, that's about right.
That's what they're reassessing yet, aren't they? You put a shed up, that's $500,000.
Yeah. I keep complaining about my water bill to everybody whoever listens to me. It went up 20% and like out of nowhere. It just drives me crazy. Anyway.
So what's crypto doing from this? We got a down day on Bitcoin.
Yeah, it looks like it's rolling over too. Very similar to what's happening with the Dow here.
A lot of people's favorite XRPs on it down. I tried pulling in. So this is something new we haven't talked about yet. this week they have released Bitcoin futures.
Yeah, the micros.
I don't see anything trading yet on a daily. Let me go down to like a 5-minute. I don't think there's any. Do I actually have volume on here? Yeah. So 50 contracts traded.
Boy, that's pretty thin. Do
And
you
they
know
don't
what
have
the
a
margin?
value yet. I can't believe they're trading at 5 or negative. I don't know. So we'll see how that comes to fruition. We'll look at that another day as micro Bitcoin futures.
Did you see what the margins on those were?
I haven't looked at all the details yet. So we'll take a session and look at that. I just got it up to see if I see any activity on the charts there.
Yeah, because a regular Bitcoin future, you got to put up the entire. You got to put up the 53,000 or whatever it is.
Yeah, so my guess is maybe they'll do the same thing. And it'll be 1/10. We'll see.
Yeah, so it'd be 5,300 maybe.
All right, anything else interesting? Let's look at our commodities index. So they're coming down. So we got another day and a quarter left. We'll see if that closes above that line.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got the DXY up a little bit. So if the DXY starts to rise, then we might see a little bit of a pullback in the commodity index. That's the big picture for me right now, is taking a look at the relationship between DXY and commodities. And we've had this pullback in the UUP and the dollar, and we've had a rise in commodities. So especially the agricultural commodities that we talked about Tuesday, and in the Wealth Masterclass. So if we do get that resurgence back in the dollar, it kind of coincides with the exact same idea that I'm thinking of as far as a long-term play on commodities. We're going to get a pullback in commodities. We're going to get the dollar rising quickly and rapidly here. And then we're going to have probably one of the biggest buying opportunities in commodities after the dollar peaks in commodities, probably in a good 20 years. So I'm really kind of looking forward to that. I hope that plays out the way I think it's going to play out. I think it will. A lot of people are calling for a much, much lower dollar here, but I believe this is just a pullback and a larger uptrend, especially if the market, if the stocks, if equities continue to go lower.
Yeah, so this is adjusting our target now because this happened after Powell spoke yesterday. This is the crush on the Dixie, which relates over to the UUP. So this was yesterday after the statements and the meetings that Powell spoke. They just crushed the dollar on. So one point to take into account here is we did hit this 786 retracement, which is the purple line. So that means we adjust our target now to 2541, where it was previously 2576. We've had a deeper pullback now. So our target now matches the purple, which is 2541. So that's now the target for UUP.
Gotcha.
On the next move up, we're still in the higher low, higher high, low, higher low currently, unless if it breaks 2417, then this sequence is off.
Right.
And if we get a pullback to the green one, then our target will be 2533. So right now we got a 2542 target on UUP, which would be a nice move up for sure.
That would be nice. Yes, absolutely. And
that's 100 on the nose almost.
Yeah, and we have gone negative on the Dow. We've gone negative on them on the Russell 2000. S&P 500 is still up a little bit, but
NDX is getting close. It's just barely hanging on at 0.2 up, but it's got a big red bar so far, and it's sitting right on the EMA. So we'll see if that holds it up or not.
Yeah. So interesting. Key reversal day here, maybe on the S&P 500, and head and shoulders on the Russell 2000. But you never know. Hey, look, since April of last year, we've done nothing but go up.
Right. And the last look at the internals, just about at the zero line, where sometimes it does have the option to bounce, but we're still negative on the volume. So we will see. And it's still avoiding my bubble after we hit 25 on that SPY VIX indicator.
Yeah.
It's still currently at 23 right now. But maybe it's gonna work around my bubble here and drop after.
Yeah, maybe. The egg is holding it up.
And just like last week we had 420, they put the high of the SPY at 420.
Oh yeah. Ah,
We will see. That was this morning.
okay. 420 guys. You know what that means.
Exactly. With that, I think we'll wrap her up for the month. We'll catch you guys in May. Hopefully get some cool baskets on your doorknobs on May 1st. Remember, I used to do that when I was a kid, ran around the neighborhood and put May Day baskets out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That was nice of you.
That was that old time, what we did as kids. I don't know. Maybe that's what's happened with this world. They stopped spreading May Day baskets.
Well, I mean, there was such a huge scare with kids going out alone in the 80s and 90s, crazy people and stuff. So
Right. Yeah,
now
we
kids
came
don't go
home
out at all.
when the streetlights came on, and as long as you could be within earshot.
Yeah, exactly. Same here. I mean, gee, I was a kid growing up in the 60s. It's like I went anywhere I wanted. If I wanted to go down to the baseball field, I could go down to the baseball field, which was like about a good half a mile away from the house. I was like 7, 8 years old. And I'd walk down there. I mean, there's no worries at all. But it is a different world. Kids don't really get out as much as, I mean, they're in organized sports now. So, they get carpooled to the soccer field or the baseball field or whatever. I don't see kids walking around at all.
Right. Nope.
Not even, and we're in a small town. I mean, we're in a really, it's not rural area, but it's it's a town of less than 100,000 people, and everybody kind of knows each other, and the crime rate's pretty low. But I still don't see any kids walking around.
Yep, those days are gone.
Those days are gone.
All right, gentlemen, appreciate you coming out. Dave, as always, we appreciate sharing stuff. It's a good time. We'll wrap up the final April trading room, and we'll be back next Tuesday at the same time. So you guys have a fantastic weekend, and we will see you in the Slack channels in the meantime.
Yep, we'll see you guys. Take care, everybody. Tom, please be well.
Tom, yep, get better, buddy. We'll see you soon.
Bye, Dan.
Bye-bye.